After nearly 5 years with the Whoop 4.0, Whoop has released their newest, latest, and greatest edition they are calling the MG or Whoop Life. And as a member of Whoop for a long time and someone who feels like Whoop has had a tremendous impact on their weight loss and healthy living journey, as both a mom and someone who's lost 40 pounds in motherhood, my health is really important to me. And so when Whoop announced that they were making this huge jump to more expensive, cooler equipment in the 5.0 and the Life, I jumped on board and I bought the subscription. But at $395, it is not cheap. So I wanted to test it for myself and help you guys to know if it's worth your time and your money. And I have a lot of thoughts, and you need to watch this video before you go out and purchase the Whoop Life. Okay, just watch the whole video. You really need to see this before you go out and purchase the Whoop Life. So let's get into it. So I'm going to use my phone and my notes in this video because I want to go over with you very briefly the features that Whoop offers. I'm not going to do a whole dive into this because I've made not one but two videos talking about Whoop specifically in the 4.0 realm. And so I will link those for you. One of them is just all about Whoop itself, and then another is comparing it to my Ultra Human ring that is a different, type of format for a similar type of thing. I mean, I'm Mrs. Health Tech, let's be real. I like to try them, I like to use them. So both of those videos are available. So I had the Whoop 4.0 for many years at this point. I've been using it really consistently to track my workouts. It's one of my favorite ways to track my workouts in their strength trainer, although I've been using it since pre-strength trainer days when it was just like a regular workout function. But they've made a lot of great strides in this, and I really do enjoy it. I think it's a super functional way to track your workouts. It's one of my absolute favorite ways to track your workouts. But they also offer sleep and recovery, which are super duper helpful. You get a lot of great data and information from it. And I mean, they've made updates over the years, even just in like their VO2 Max adding, the added steps, which is still not that accurate, but they have a ton of great insights for you. Again, I won't do a whole deep dive. I'll link those videos if you want the whole thing. But the short version is when they did an upgrade to 5.0 in Life, I opted for the most expensive one, but it is $395. And I have to tell you, I needed to know if it was worth the investment. Whoop is already expensive, but the Whoop 5.0 offered MG sensors or medical grade sensors. So as you can see here, got it on. Let me take it off. So this is my 4.0 right here in the cutesy band. And this is the 5.0. So it does offer a sleeker option, but I don't think it's significantly, to me, it doesn't feel significantly different in terms of that. And I have a pretty small wrist. I'm a tiny person, so I don't make 5 feet tall. But like, as you can see, there is a little bit of size differentiation, but it's not like ridiculously so. And with that, it also came with some new cool features that they're offering. And I want to kind of just go over each of the features with you and tell you how they work, what I like, what I don't like. So when you upgrade your new Whoop, you get access to what they call this health page. And it scans your heart rate, which it's calibrated now because I just took it off. But what you get a health span score. And this just helps to calibrate your data from your sleep consistency, your hours of sleep, your strain, fitness, all of those things, and trends over time to help you to figure out how you're aging. And honestly, this just makes me feel like a vanity metric to me because like it says that I'm 29.8. Like it makes me feel very cool. I certainly don't look 29, so it's fine. But I like that they offer this. This is cool. I mean, really the whole goal for me is kind of to be aging backwards. I want to be improving my health. So to see that they're saying that like I'm younger, my body is younger than like the average person performing at my age is pretty cool. And that I am slowing the aging process. This is something cool that it seems like a lot of companies are starting to offer. It's the sort of like health span idea. You still get all your same health monitor metrics and you get some menstrual cycle insights. So if if you have a menstrual cycle, it really depends on, what kind of birth control you're using, because depending on the kind of birth control will kind of vary if this is actually going to be an accurate measurement for you or not. But you also may find that it's not very helpful depending on your type of, birth control. But if that's something that you're into. They also added a blood pressure insights, and this sounded really good, and it was actually one of the main selling points for me. But the problem is you need a blood pressure cuff to use this thing, which, I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? It's a blood pressure monitor, but it's something that I hadn't considered. I wondered like how they were going to measure your blood pressure with this thing. And, I hadn't considered that perhaps that would be a problem or issue or that we need a blood pressure cuff. And we have one, but in order to set up the baseline, you have to go and you have to set it up and you have to not have caffeine. And like, there's a lot of different factors involved to getting an accurate reading for your blood pressure. And so I had this thing for a month now and I haven't made the time to do it. It's still in the access your insights portion. And honestly, this was something that was kind of important to me and I haven't prioritized it. So, what does that tell you? So I think if you're a person who's looking at this thinking, oh, I really want access to my blood pressure insights, well, make sure you have a blood pressure cuff first. You're going to need to make sure you have that in the budget for yourself. And also that you're willing to like do what you need to do to track your blood pressure because it's not just something that you're going to automatically be able to do because you're wearing a loop. So something to keep in mind with that point. And then they also have a heart screener for sinus rhythm. And it's pretty easy to use. You just go into it and you tell it you want to take a new reading. And then it will have you take your 2 fingers and there's some sensors right here. And you just hold the sensors for the 30 seconds. And then after your 30 seconds, it'll do a countdown for you and it'll do a reading for you. So that's pretty cool to have if that's something that you feel like you need or that's something that's like a health concern for you. It is cool to have access to this. And then your stress monitor is moved here. And then they've also put us on the wait list for what they're calling advanced labs. My assumption is they're going to start offering, some sort of like blood lab work in the not too distant future to sort of track and monitor and add to all of this. And if you go through the Whoop Life, then you get that subscription. The other thing that they're offering is the 14-day battery life. This thing has absolutely freaking stellar battery life. Like just, yeah. I mean, but the thing is that the battery life was already good. Like I really didn't have to charge it but like once a week anyway. But the 14-day battery life, it slaps. Okay, it does. It is extremely cool to not have to charge this thing but like once in a blue moon. And I will be honest with you, that is the absolute best thing about the Whoop 5.0. I mean, the Whoop Life. I'm sorry, I misspoke. And to me, that is disappointing because this is not a cheap purchase. This is not a cheap like upgrade. And so, yes, they're offering us stuff. I'm just not sure at this point in time, based on what they're giving you, it's worth the upgrade price. I might would go with the 5.0. What is the 5.0? I should have looked that up for you already. I'm sorry. So there are two other options. There's the one membership, which is the 5.0, and then there's the peak, which is the Whoop 1 plus you get a few of the additional insights. I'll put that up on the screen. And so you do, and then there's the Life, which has the blood pressure, heart screen, and AFib detection. So they do have 3 new membership options, and I have the most expensive one, and it's a pretty significant jump because the one is listed at 183 right now if you're starting new or 199. Then the peak is 220. The slashed out price is 239. So and then Life is 330 or 359. What did I say? Did I say 395? I'm sorry. I'm at 359. Apologies for that. And so anyway, so there are different memberships to choose from. And so honestly, I think because you're still getting the cool battery life, I just don't know that the Life is worth a membership right now. There might be a time in a season where I think the Life is worth the extra money, but I just don't think now is it. And I really hate to say that because I've been a huge proponent of Whoop, a big fan of Whoop for a really long time. I still recommend Whoop to a lot of people, but the way they're acting with their customer service as of late has also really gone downhill. And I always feel weird like saying this. I don't want to talk bad about companies just generally because I just don't like talking bad about people just generally. It bothers me, but I do think their customer service has gone downhill since they become a bigger company. When they were a small company, when my husband and I first, started using Whoop, they were super reliable. They were always very like on top of their customer support. But now I feel like the bigger they've gotten, their customer support just isn't very good anymore. I'll be honest. And so I still recommend it. I still think it's a really good resource and I still absolutely would recommend it to people. But I do have to recommend it with more hesitation now because there was a time where their customer service was like baller and now it's less than ideal. And that makes me really sad to see. So I really hope they can kind of like get it together in that regard. So that's kind of where I stand with the whole new like Whoop updates. I wanted to give it a month with my new sensor and just see how I felt about it. And this is where we are. So I hope you found this video useful or helpful in some way. And if you did, I'd love for you to subscribe, come be my friend, and let's live our best lives together. And if you loved this video, I would love if you would give it a thumbs up. It lets YouTube know it's useful or helpful in some way. And until next time, bye, friends.